Well, welcome to Stencils and Such. Now, in this series, what we do is we explore the world of stencils because, quite frankly, there's just so much you can do with them. And as a matter of fact, this is the set of stencils. We have 8. We have 8 today. They all layer, okay? And you can do something like this. We'll get in close so you can see this. Isn't that pretty? But you can also do something like this. Yes, you can stencil on glitter cardstock. Oh, and there's more. You can do, well, gosh, I don't even want to show you. There's just so much. Won't you please come play with us? Now, if you're not familiar with Lisa Horton, she is a designer from England, and all of her stuff is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. This puppy, as I said, has 8 pieces. So let me just show you. Now, there are numbers on them, but I did number them with a felt tip pen. I'm not sure that that will stay on there, but so this is number 1. And you see this little piece at the side. They all have them. Now, Lisa had a tool for holding stencils in place, but you know, we have low-tack tape and it will work just as well. So number 1, number 2, ooh, pretty. Number 3, so these are in different positions. Number 4 starts giving us the leaves. Number 5 gives us even more leaves. Number 6, yeah, you got it, more leaves. Number 7 has the stems. And number 8 has the rest of the tinier leaves and the centers of the leaves. I guess that would be more appropriate. So all 8 of these. Now, I'm going to do a demo right now of just walking you through of using this, and I'm going to kind of mimic a little one that Debbie did for me. So I'm going to get a big piece of smooth white cardstock out, and as I said, I'm going to be using our low-tack tape, and I'm going to hold it in a couple of places like this. Okay, so I'm going to put it over here, and I'll show you why. So I'm going to start with number 1, and what I want to do is line this up with the edge of my paper. So I'm going to position it so that the bottom edge is equal to the bottom edge of the stencil. The left edge of the paper is equal to the left side of the stencil. And I'm just going to put that there. Okay. Now, I'm going to take my blending tool. This is not a blending brush, a blending tool. And I'm going to use Vintage Rose. Now, this is a light color. And you kind of, when you get something that is layered, you want to think about, gee, where do you want a dark color? Where do you want a light color? In this particular case, we want the light color to be on the bottom. And you will see why in just a minute. Now, we will fast forward this in a few places because in order for you to get the whole look of this, you'll want to see, you'll want me to do the whole thing. And I hate to have you just watch me do the same thing over and over, but this is the base layer. And you can see that the blending tool gets this on pretty quickly. You don't want to have a really wet ink pad because you don't want to get, get globs of this on. So a ink pad that is has been used, that this isn't the first time, is going to work really nicely. Okay, and all you want to do is make sure that you took care of all of the empty areas, which I have done. Okay, so that is Vintage Rose, the lightest color I'm going to use. Then I'm going to peel this up. I'm not going to throw my tape away because I'm going to use it for all of the other stencils. And I just want to make sure that I did all of those. I'm not going to worry about that going over the stencil because I can trim that off. So there is my number 1, and I'm going to pop that into a bath. My number 2, okay, this is the one that starts giving me the roses. Again, measuring it equal to the bottom and to the left-hand side. I'm going to put my tape back. And this time, I'm going to switch from my blending tool and I'm going to go into my into my finger dauber, my sponge daubers. Okay, so they look like this. And this time I'm doing lipstick. Now lipstick is much darker than my vintage rose. Okay, and let me scoot this over so you can see the whole thing and get a nice quick look at it. And here we go with the lipstick red. Well, it's kind of a red pink, isn't it? And I'm just going to squish it. Now you can see that that's outside of the of all of the pieces. You can see there's some there, but it's over some of the others, and that's exactly what we want. So it doesn't take long. This ink pad is not quite as dry as my last one. Okay, just want to make sure that you cover the entire area, and that is the red. I'm going to lift it. And you can see what's going on. Okay, ooh, see? That's why you want, and we can zoom in a little bit, why you want the light color on the bottom, so that when you have the dark cover over the top, it will expose those lines. Isn't that nice? Yes. Okay, so that's the lipstick. Then we're going to go to Orchid. And Orchid is going to go with number 3. Same deal, and same process, nothing. It's really just that repetition, but the fun, as you will see, is in the color selections, but it's also in different things that we can use. Now this is going to give us more of the roses, but it's also going to give us a couple of other leaves, which is interesting. And do appreciate the artist who pulled this all together. And I imagine that was Lisa, I would hope so. Okay. And you have probably seen some of the beautiful embossing folders that Lisa does that we've done at Paper Wishes. So it just gives you another look as to what she does. Okay, so again, I'm doing the finger daubers with all of them. I just use the blending tool with, okay, so you can see we're getting more definition. Okay, that was number 3. Now number 4 is going to start the leaves. And same deal every time. You just want to make sure that you've got it positioned correctly. And I did put my 4 over the embossed 4 that was there. So that's why it's looking like it's in the middle of things, but it's really not. Okay, let me scoot that away. I want Holly Green. Where are you, Holly Green? Okay, Holly Green is a dark green. And now, I had just said that you want to have a lighter one, didn't I? But I'm just following what, actually what Debbie told me. Okay. Now, you can change these colors, of course, and I'll be showing you other examples. And what's fun, actually, one of the things that I think is fun about stenciling is that there's so many different mediums that you can use, and that's kind of neat. Okay, Holly Green, you are done. And it's also kind of fun to see this take place. Okay, wow, we've got green. Okay, number 5 is going to be leaf green, which is a lighter green. Okay, you just want to make sure that you are lining everything up, because it's not going to look like it's lined up if you go by the stencil, because it's just a bigger place. Okay, leafy green. Here we go. You can see it's much lighter, but it's giving us some different variety in our leaves, as it goes on. So it's not going on top of the other leaves like it did on the roses. Okay. And there's not anything tricky about this, I don't think, as long as you line it up and as long as you fill in the areas. Now on this whole card, we are only using the ink pads. And I do want to give a plug to Hunky Dory because I appreciate the fact that these ink pads last so long and that they are so inexpensive. It's just really, really nice that we're not asking you to pay $9, $10, or $11 per ink pad, especially when you want to use a lot of different ink pads on a project like this. You get a lot of different colors. And you notice I just wanted to make sure that I did get in all of the areas, fill up all of those. And sometimes you may find yourself going over something and it's not really an evacuated area. It's one on the bottom of it. Okay, leafy green. We're not quite done with the greens yet either. We've got another one. Okay. Ooh, fun. Okay, number 6 is going to be shamrock. Isn't that neat? Okay, it just gets better. Okay, lining it up. Number 6. And shamrock right here. Kind of a medium green. So we've done dark and light. Now we're doing medium, and it's going in other areas. I'm not sure what you can see. We've got this white on white going on, but it is going in different areas. So it's just going to give us a variety of greens. Now, in some of the projects to come, Lene used different stencils, but the same ink pad. So that's interesting to see. But Debbie, in this idea that she gave me, has a different color of ink pad for every layer. So, see, more decisions that you get to make, which is kind of the fun of it, isn't it? Okay, so you can see this is really giving me a lot of green. Okay, I want to make sure I've got all of the little guys done. Looks like I have. Okay. And you can see this is pretty fast. I was thinking I would have to have the, woo, there we go. Now, when we go into number 7, this is where our stems come in. So we're going to be shifting from our green into brown. And this is going to be done with Velvet Fawn, one of the colors that I particularly like. I end up using it a lot in doing card making. Okay, so this is going to connect some things together. And as I said, the numbers are on, they are etched into the plastic, so you don't have to worry about doing what I did. You certainly can if you want, but I really did it so that you could see it on camera. Okay. And I'm just scrubbing these in, and you can see this is just takes a second. I've gone through all of these. Okay, want to do a final double check to make sure that I did them all and nothing is missing. Okay, Velvet Fawn, you are done. And there is one more. And we are going back. See, that just fills it out, doesn't it? And then we're going to go with number 8. And we are going back to Holly Green. Well, I'm not sure how that's going to work because I think it's going over. Holly Green, where are you? There you are. I think it's going over some of the Holly Green, so it might be that I see the Holly Green is going to be great over the lighter greens. but it's not going to do much over the holly one. So we'll just see how this goes. Okay. So we're just going, the other, well, I'll show you when we get there. I don't want to give you too much of what's to come. Okay. Now, this is one idea of finishing all of those stencils. There you go. It's done. And you can see the shading on the leaves with the veins and the stems, the same thing on the flowers. Okay, now if your head is saying, oh, but I could do that in this color and that color, why, yes, you can. Okay, now let's get into our first full project. And you know what? I will put this listing of these as one of the sheets on the directions. Okay, so I'll just say sample and make sure you see that. This is one that I did earlier, and that's where I did my cheat sheet to tell me. And there you go. Okay, so let's go into what has been done. Now, you did see this in the opening, and Lene did this, and what she has done is she has used a patterned cardstock, and that's the green that's in the background. There's also a patterned cardstock right here, and they are from the 6x6 package of Threaded Whimsy. And I really like that, doing the stenciling on patterned paper, because I think it just gives more depth than the white. You can see that's pretty. It's just very stark, and it's great for a demo, but here for a finished project, I think it's really nice to have this. Now, you'll notice that this is an arch, and what Lene did is she took our 5x6.5 inch cards, they're 5x6.5, used the largest arch and placed it over the fold of the card, and then sent it through her die cutting machine. And that cut the base of the card. And it's a good idea to have your paper attached to the front of the card before you run it through, because that way everything's going to fit perfectly. Then she took the next smaller one and did that over the patterned green. So she's got the lightly patterned blue and the patterned green. And then she did all of her inking. And let me see, she used, and you'll see it in the directions, but she used Orchid first, which was a medium color, the violet, which is darker. And on number 1 was Orchid, number 2 was violet, number 3 was violet. So all of the flowers are the same color combination. Number 4 was khaki, which was the green, but number 5 and number 6 were khaki also. So all of her leaves are the same green color, but then she came back and did holly for all of the veins, and then of course velvet fawn for those branches. Very pretty. So I thought it was clever that where Debbie did different colors for all of those stencils with the leaves, again going back to this, but Lene just did one color. You can do it both ways, but this gave her more of a purple green combination. Then she tied a bow, and she used the purple ribbon set, and she used the crepe ribbon and zodded that in place. And then this is the Purple Dazzle collection. This is the only collection that we have by color, and it has words, so sincere sympathy, has hearts, it has thin lines, it has all sorts of things. And so that is right there. And because she foam taped this in place, it's raised a little bit. You can see that. And then you can do something on the inside of the card. And I'll tell you, I would recommend that you can take those layers and maybe do just the top sprig and maybe put it over here. It'd be very pretty. Okay. Well, thank you, Lene. That's a great idea. Now, let me show you this one. And I think this is pretty clever, of doing this on a glitter cardstock. So to get ready for this, and let's see, let me get this on white. I think you can see it better. There you go. That is a green mirror cardstock that she covered her card. Now this card is a tent card. It is 5 by 7 inches, but it's called a tent, as you can see why. And she turned it horizontally, covered it with the green emerald Mary. Let me just show you what that looks like. There you go, emerald green. And then she used glitter, white glitter cardstock. Isn't that neat? So you're going to get some glittery shine as well as different colors. Notice too that this one she did using her stencils this way and then put it on her card horizontally. So it looks great both ways. Now let me just tell you what she used in creating this. So to do the flowers, she has used, got them right here, got almost all of them right here. She has used the warm honey, so that's that yellow. And she also used a mustard, which I don't seem to have, so it's a medium, a little bit darker. And then she used the tiger orange, which, as you can see now, she only used the orange on the bottom part of each of the stencils. So you can control that with the finger dauber, okay? So just really nice. And then for her green, she used khaki on number 2 and, number 4, 5, and 6. So all of the leaves are khaki. And then she went back and did the holly green for the veins, and of course the velvet fawn for the branches. So again, she did all of her colors in her flowers the same way as she did the first card. So this is Linnea's, and let me show you what else she did. So that's what your glitter is going, and the glitter that we have now, glitter cardstock, is smooth. It does not shed, so you're not going to get glitter on everywhere. You're not going to be wearing it, so that's nice. And just to really highlight and give a nice balance to it, she used the Happy Birthday. Now, the Happy Birthday is in our large, this is Gold Pearl Big Greetings Dazzles, and this is what it looks like. I pulled the backing off, and here is the full sheet. So you can see, isn't that pretty? Going really nicely with the yellows that are in her flowers. And then she used the brand new Gold Pearl Oval Border Dazzles, just a row right there. And then her bow is out of the gold and silver ribbons. So all of that just creates just a really, really nice piece. Now, both of Linnea's pieces, she has used the ink pads solely, and but she has placed one on pattern cardstock and one on glitter. Wait till I show you what Debbie did. Okay, here is Debbie's next card, or first card. And as we get a little bit closer, I hope that you can see, or I think you can see, texture paste that's here. So you can see it's shiny and it's raised, but it's still pretty flat. Okay, let me show you how she did that. So her number, well, actually, let me tell you from the beginning. Stay a little bit closer, if you will. Okay, thank you. Now, her card is a 5 by 6.5 inch card. And in this case, Debbie has chosen watercolor wildflowers. Now, the 6 by 6 size is what she has used for her pattern cardstock, which is right here. And it is this sheet, which is on the back side of this very pretty watercolor piece. So this piece is what she has used. And so this is what she would be doing stenciling on, but she would turn it this way because remember the stencils have to line up on the left edge on the bottom. So that's going to work nicely. Now she also used the watercolor wildflowers solids. So here's what that array looks like, all kinds of colors. So you can see that she covered her whole card in the pink and then went back and did a smaller piece of light blue. And that's going to go behind this piece. So, okay, so we've got our card ready and just setting aside. Then she went into her, all of the stencils. Now her first stencil, remember that's the one with kind of the blobs of the flowers? She did that with Lovely Lilac. As you can see, it's a very light color. Then she did all of the leaves, and the leaves are, well, you'll see all of the listing in her directions, but she's done as she did with the first sample that I showed you. They're all in different colors, okay? So she did all of that and went and notice that in the first one that I did the kind of the blobs. That was number one. Then number two, number three, they kind of defined the flowers, excuse me, the roses. So what she did here is that she did those number one with the blobs, and then she did all the leaves. Okay, then she went back to do the flowers because they're going to get raised, and that's going to lift up the stencils a bit. So you want to do all the flat things first, and then come back and do the stenciling with what I'm going to show you, which is texture paste. Okay, so this is the texture paste. It comes in white and it comes in black, and it's a brand new product for us from Hunky Dory. And what Debbie did, and I'm going to scoot this over just to show you, is in this case, lipstick was one of the colors that she used, and she just tapped that a couple of times onto the craft mat, okay? And then she took a little bit of this and with the palette knife scooped some. You can see, I'm just going to scoop that much. And now you can always redo it if you don't have quite enough. And you just let the color get into the ink, into the paste. So the color of the ink into the paste. And you can see what's happening. It's picking it up beautifully, which is probably why they just have black and white paste, because you can make it any color with just a little tiny bit of the ink pads. In fact, you can see the pink I have is just really close to the pink that she has, isn't it? So then you're going to have your stencil, and you've seen me 400 times do the paste over a stencil. So you're just going to rub it in. Now notice that we've got pink on all of these. Well, that was the number 2 stencil. The number 3 stencil is going to have a different color, which is that is going to be the violet, okay, which is a very bright pink, but you can see that this gets kind of muted down with all of that white, okay? So she did that on the flowers. She did one other thing, and let's see if you can see it, but right here there is a little raised area on some of the leaves. That was also done with mixing this same texture paste, and this time with the holly green. And even though holly green is a dark green, because that was used on the bottom, you can see that the texture paste one is a lighter green. So the white is going to change the color. So again, you can see the lipstick, how it went from this hot, hot pink into just a really soft pink. And that is going to easily give you this layered and raised look that is just absolutely lovely. Then she finished it off with the watercolor wildflowers die cut and some of the purple thin line dazzles at the top and at the bottom. How neat is that? Okay, we've got one more idea for you. Okay, for our last card, look what Debbie has done. Once again, she has some dimensional flowers on here, and she's also doing this on a patterned paper for the background. And this comes from Newsprint Florals. And she has used this sheet that is on the back of one. So you can see how this sheet is going to work really well with this stencil no matter what you put on the top of it, with all of those leaves showing. And this is our 5 by 6.5 inch card. You can see it's covered with yellow. Well, that came from the Newsprint Floral Solid, so you can see the yellow there. We're going to use that yellow again, but first she covered her card front with that yellow. So meaning that just to put glue on the outside edges of your card, position your cardstock, like this. So it is equal to the fold and one side, press it down, turn it over, and trim it to fit, taking off any of the little notes that might be there, okay? And that's just the easy way to do it. Now, she trimmed down her leafy piece. And then to do this one, because once again, she has some raised areas, she did all of her leaves first. So that's, number 4, 5, 6. Number 7 is with the Velvet Fawn to get her stems. She also turned her stencils, so you can do them one way and then turn them the other, just whatever you want. Okay, so two tips there. And she did use multiple colors of the greens. They're listed, but lily pad, sea green, khaki, all of those. Muddy Boots is what she used for the darker color, and as I said, Velvet Fawn. So also she has made these. So let me tell you about those. She used, first of all, one of the yellow solids from the cardstock. I'm just going to set that there. And then she used her number 1 stencil and colored in with Warm Honey. Now, Warm Honey is also a yellow, so just did that with her blending tool. Then she went back with stencil number 2. Where are you, stencil number 2? There you are. And I'm going to attach this with my, I'll just do it here so that you can see. Let me get another piece of low tack. And this is exactly the way you would do the paste that we were talking about just a minute ago. And this is with Sunshine Stencil Butter, one of our stencil butters. So just to show you, you want to get it open. There we go. Okay. When you're closing them, try to not have stencil butter on any of the side edges. Okay, so there it is. Now I am putting yellow on yellow, but Debbie felt that she wanted to have that extra layer of the solid underneath it. So, excuse me. I'm just going to do this in an area. In fact, I've got way too much. And the stencil butter will need to dry, and you want to make sure that your stencil butter does not dry on your stencil. So I'm just going to use this up, finish off the little piece there. There we go. And you just scrape it so that it is filling that area. Now, with the stencil butter, as with any of the texture paste, you want to make sure that they do not dry on the stencil or on your palette knife. I have a pail of water over here. It's actually just a plastic tray, and that will make sure that it doesn't dry. So you want to keep something like that handy. Don't wait to finish everything and then put it in water. Just get it in water right away. Okay, now I'm going to put this in my water, and you want to let that dry. Look how pretty that is. And what Debbie did is then she cut around the edge, and you have this. And as you can see, she did a bunch of them. I bet she was watching TV when she did that. And look how pretty that is. So having that yellow underneath, both with the paper and the ink pad, and then the sunshine on top. You can really see all those edges into the definition of those flowers. And then she just glued those in place. Now you may be seeing some shine, and she did with her number 8 stencil use the black texture paste, which looks black just like this, and she could put that on just straight. Whereas with the white, now you could do that straight too. Maybe if you wanted white roses, that would be pretty. Or you can color it with the ink pad, so that works too. But that is what is done on this lovely, lovely card. And to do her message, she stayed with the newsprint florals and used the die cuts. So there's this piece, and then for a special friend is on top of it. Gorgeous. Okay. You know, since we're talking about stencil butters and things, I bet you could use the tacky when dry and then go back and put the foiling on them. Oh, wouldn't that be pretty? Okay, lots of things that you can do with these stencils. I'll be right back. Well, remember when I said Lisa Horton does really pretty things? Well, this is a great example. These 8 layering stencils all come in this package. And I do want to tell you that they are normally, are you ready? $23.35. That is the retail cost of these. However, because we promise you in Stencils and such that they will be $15, that's what you're going to pay. Okay, so that works out nicely. And so as you can see with this, you can do them on pattern cardstock. You can do them on glitter. You can do them with texture paste. You can do them with stencil butter texture paste. You can do so many things to get so many looks with these stencils. Well, it's true with any stencil, but especially with a layering stencil. Okay, well, that's what we have for today. We also have a subscription. It looks like this. We'll get in a little bit closer. And every month you will receive at least 2 stencils. Of course, this month you got 8. We'll have at least 2. You will pay no more than $15 for them, and you will get something for free. This time you're going to get a full sheet of that white glitter cardstock. Look at that. This is an A4 size, so that's going to be nice too. And you get that before the webisode airs, so that you have an idea. When you get the stencil, you can kind of look at it and touch it and so forth. And if you would like to subscribe to this, just go on the right-hand side of the screen. You will see the Money Saver. You will see the subscription, both of them just right there. If you happen to be watching us on YouTube, we would just love it if you would like us and subscribe. That way it boosts our ratings, which we're always looking to do. Then head on over to paperwishes.com. You will not get this at this price anywhere else than Paper Wishes. We're always watching out for your pocketbook for you. And you please leave a message. You can just scroll down. Just below where all the instructions are, just click on the card and you will see those, just to give you a list of those ink pads and other materials. So I want to thank you for joining us. I especially want to thank the outstanding job that Lene and Debbie did on these projects. It's just a delight to bring these to you and to share their creativity right alongside yours. Okay, we'll see you again probably tomorrow. Bye-bye.